We sat down with a few of the previous senior chaplains of the board leadership of chaplaincy to discuss their perspectives on the Spokane Police Chaplaincy. Tell us about how you started your journey in the chaplaincy.
Vernon Buckley and Terry Perninger came to California to
Really? Okay.
interview me and do everything. So,
It said chaplain, and I wonder what that's about. So I called, talked to the then senior chaplain, and he said, well, come on down and talk to me. So I came down here and visited with him about the program, and I had more of an administrative background. Mm-hmm. So I thought, oh great, I type like the wind, I can do a report, I can file something, I can work on a project, whatever he might need. Well, he called one day and said, are you ready to go to work? And I said, sure, what do you need? And he said, I need to go tell a single mother that her only child has died. And I said, no, I cannot do that. And he said, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to say anything, you just need to be a presence in the room.
That's because of Sean Pegram. Sean said, hey, I think you'd make a great chaplain, you should go talk to our chaplain, which was Ron at the time. And what I didn't know then was that I kind of was over, even though I didn't really know what a chaplain was. I was in ministry, but in my former life when I did healthcare, I was kind of doing the work of a chaplain without really knowing it.
What is one significant memory you have of the chaplaincy supporting SPD and the community?
Visiting with an officer just side by side. I mean, I was walking, he was in his car blocking traffic, and just chatting, and his wife called to say that she was pregnant. And I got to be there for that. And with that, him getting that news and us talking, still to this day, I saw him not too long ago, and he remembers that. And so we were able to talk about first-time dad, you know, working this job, things to think about. And I think we prayed, stood right there in the middle of Wellesley with a deceased and prayed.
Support. And it wasn't just the fact that we're bringing food and water and coffee at intervals for days, like at least 2 meals a day. But when you would show up, hugs, I'd get hugs and handshakes and high fives from people that I didn't think really knew me. Appreciating the chaplaincy, showing up to support them. It was, in fact, it was my barber. She goes, oh, I understand, chaplain. Now you're the morale officer. I could hear Ron's voice in my head. It was my very first infant call. And the dad was irritated at me because my boss, God, didn't do his job to keep his baby boy alive. And I remember Ron saying, hey, if you're ever more an irritation to a family, you can just excuse yourself. So I was sitting with the mother of the child, and he'd come by. Every time he walked by, he'd have something to say or a snarly look or something. And I was talking to her, and I said, hey, I said, if I'm more an irritation to your husband, I'm happy to just excuse myself because I want my presence to be a blessing to you. And she's like, no, don't do that. Okay, yeah, maybe that's a better idea. And I said, okay, so here's my card, if there's anything else I can do. And then I went around into the kitchen to tell him the same thing. And he broke down crying and threw his arms around me and said, no, and apologized. And if you remember, he called a couple days later because you reached out to me and they said the family would like you to do the service. And I ended up doing the service. Yeah. But I remember Ron teaching me, hey, if you're ever not a blessing, and I will never forget it.
I spent 24 years on graveyard, so that's how I got involved really with chaplaincy. I had so much intimate working relationship with everybody in the chaplaincy because of all the calls that we're responding to. So that's how I became very impressed with the chaplaincy, and of course I became personal friends with a lot of them there, and eventually became involved.
Why should the community support our chaplains?
I can tell you right now, I had the opportunity to watch what you do for the community, comforting those who are in a horrific crisis, or ones that are going to don't know yet, but are going to experience a horrific crisis when you have to make the death notifications. Those are unfortunate. Somebody has to do it, and that's where you guys come in.
kind of had a vision of, trying to expand our tent pegs. But within that, though, too, is expanding the tent pegs of who we were trying to reach and coming alongside our officers with doing just about everything, which might have been done in the past, but in the previous years before I took over, I kind of felt like the chaplaincy might have shrunk a little bit in regards to its reach farther into different specialty teams and whatnot for the department.
Chaplaincy to me is pure ministry, 100%. Yes, there's some paperwork involved, but it is going out and representing God to people that may not even think about God. One of the officers said, if I'm in a shootout and I see a chaplain, I know God's with me.